every. Oh, you said wait 2 seconds. Oh God, no, it didn't even play at all. Oh well, that's our intro. No, let's do it. That's the wrong one. That's the outro. Oh my God, it's not a good start. It's not a good start. Let's try again. Greetings, awesome beings. And of course, we don't have Michelle with us today. She's transformed into Paul Cook. So we've got Paul Cook with us finally.
Yes,
that's a carry guy. For weeks and weeks, and it's here. Arrived.
I've had dramas, mate. I've had dramas in the Bahamas.
Well, we have you back finally.
And yeah. I'm back on the manor, mate. Back on the scene.
I have talked to Michelle Gibson, and she 100% wants to do a round table with the three of us. So the next time the three of us get together, it'll be the four of us and Michelle.
Yeah, that'd be wicked. When did you speak to her last then?
About a week ago, I emailed her there and was talking to her about it.
Oh, okay. Yeah. It's been probably 8 months since we've actually done a show with her. But I heard she was on Veritas TV. She's just done a chat with them recently. Another one.
Amazing.
Sorry, what's
that out, peoples?
Veritas, what's that? Veritas,
Veritas, it's a YouTube channel, Veritas TV.
Oh, yeah.
It does interviews.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. He's pretty good.
Pretty big following.
So welcome everyone in the chat. Thank you all for being here. Love you all. And yes, Mr. Paul Cook, we're going to go through some of Paul's info and let him wow us with his wisdom. Of course, Paul is the polymer man, making huge discoveries all throughout the UK, which is blowing people's minds. So make sure you go check out his channel, share all his stuff, and obviously subscribe if you haven't already. Now, did Bernie put the link in description? Hopefully he did. If not, it's just Paul Cook.
I did, and I'm pasting it in the live chat right now as well.
We've got to get into 100 grand, but not before we get me to 100 grand.
Yeah.
That's the only caveat.
This is what Paul's great channel looks like right here, with the link I just put in. The videos, there's so many of, and you've discovered some amazing things, including this red layer of sandstone you call the golden nugget.
Yeah, the golden layer.
So maybe do you want to start off by describing a little bit of that? And
yeah. So basically, obviously, I've been going around ancient sites now since Malta. So that started around 5 years ago, and since then I've done just under 2 years in Malta, and then I come back to England. Obviously, amongst that, I've been researching the world from sitting at home. So I'm building up an image, and my brain's just telling me that there's this certain layer that everywhere I'm going, you've got natural sandstone and limestone, but there's this certain golden layer. It's that I call where the golden nuggets are. and it's got everything in it. So the places and these layers have been hidden, and they've had mud slapped over them, trees slapped over them, and turned into nature reserves. They've turned into golf courses. They've turned into all sorts of stuff, holiday campsites. So what I've done is I've worked it out. It's almost like a blueprint, you know. So I know that when I tick these certain boxes in an area, there's going to be something there, 100%. And it hasn't let me down so far. So look, you can see, look, I'm actually on top of one of these structures right now.
They're like the Petra Jordan style-ish.
Exactly. It's all the same. It's like that. It's like you see in Iran or Baalbek or somewhere you'd see like Cappadocia. It's places like that, but they're just buried. And what they've done is we've been fed crap basically about geology. This is what I'm learning. We've been fed crap about geology, and we're told that this is meant to be natural sandstone from sedimentary rock. There he is.
Right, and like that's in the UK, and it literally could be anywhere of these ancient sites throughout Eurasia, throughout pretty much the entire world, really.
Yeah, but it is abundant in the United Kingdom. It is basically Nottingham, right? Nottingham, the city of Nottingham, that whole place is like Cappadocia, but buried. Imagine that. Imagine putting loads of mud over Cappadocia, and then you're just left with a little bit poking out here and there. Like over 1 mile away down the road, you've got a mound poking out. Half a mile down the other road, you've got a little mound poking out. But they're all cave complexes, but they're all connected underground. It's all connected.
They're all connected.
Yeah, it's all the same. It's all part of the same thing. But where it's over a vast amount of land and above ground, we've got roads separating things. You just don't think that it's A and B are the same thing. You don't. You just think they're different parts of the town.
Yeah.
So I've been going around to the town.
Hidden in plain sight.
Yeah. So I went to Nottingham and I literally documented all the bits of the sandstone that are poking out. And it's remarkable because it's almost like there's some sort of old world transport system incorporated into this golden layer, because it's like, you know, like trains going through tunnels. You've got the big arches. You've got double of these running through the sandstone.
Yeah.
Like, why would that be like that? And the excuse in Nottingham was they was going to make there's a massive tunnel in Nottingham, a sandstone tunnel, but the excuse of that is they was going to use it for horse and cart. But then they said the gradient was too much. So why would you go out of all that way to cut all this sandstone up, make a tunnel, but then realise it's too much of a gradient? You wouldn't do that, would you? You'd literally smooth it out till it's.
Why would you have the engineering skills to make a tunnel, but not to like work out the gradient? Yeah,
exactly. So it's just left there. You've got this massive sandstone tunnel, and above it you've got like, it looks like something out of Malta, but it's connected. It's connected to the whole of the complex. Yes, Nikki. It's connected to the whole complex.
And this is all in the UK, because I was watching a stream of yours the other night, and someone popped out and they're like, "Where are you?" In Peru. And this is the thing, you could say it was Peru and people would believe you, because it's the same kind of stuff we find. Yeah, I saw you talking about, you know, the joins, you know, there's some that look just like the South American ones, the polygonal, you know, brick type stuff. Yeah.
And to me, it seems either it's a heck of a lot older, or they've gone right out their way to make it look like it's natural by literally dismantling it, defacing it, you know, things like that, putting all trees up it. This one here, look at the barbed wire. Look at the barbed wire. I'm walking on the outside of it here. Look at the barbed wire and all the fencing.
Above the main steel fence, just to make sure we can't possibly get in there.
So I'm just on the outside of it. But this is, I guess this is quite old. So I think part of the fence has fallen down, and you do have access into it. But look. And at the beginning of the video, we was walking on top of it. So you didn't even know, see? Look at that. So what's the chances of that? What is the chances of a load of mud ending on top of that and then a load of trees planted on top? What's the chances of that? And this is meant to be sedimentary rock. So we are very high above sea level at the minute as well.
I mean, so
But look how much
we're
earth
talking
has
a
been
lot
pushed
of
up.
dirt. Like,
Yeah, a lot, Cam. Like,
What are your
where does it
theories
come
on
from?
that? Like, exactly.
Look,
Like, have you
that
got
it,
any
look, it
theories
don't look like it.
on where or when?
Yeah, it doesn't look like it, but that's actually about 15, 20 foot of earth pushed up it. Because I'm looking at it from a distance, when I go up close to it, or if you have someone stand next to it, you'll see how much earth there is. Look, I'm inside now. But this is, I know some people are going to think, oh my God, you're talking crackers. But this is an ancient.
Look at that razor wire. That's crazy.
I know, man. But this is a geopolymer. This is a geopolymer made out of sandstone. So they've got the sandstone from a natural sandstone ridge. They broke it down into dust and they've made a geopolymer. And this is what they've made.
Yeah.
Is that like old runic engravings there too? That's crazy.
Probably, mate. It's mate. You got kitchen setups in here. In this one, you've got a cooker, and in the cooker you can see where they've put two grills. You can see the hinges for the door. And another thing about this is not this one in particular, but other ones they've left render over it, and render is like an external. It's like an external coat for a building. So it'll give it weathering, it'll give it a finishing look. Well, it'll give you the ability to paint over it or give it a finishing look. So what we're seeing now, and inside your plaster, so plaster inside, render external, right? So what they've done is they've literally took off all the render. And why am I saying that? Because when I go through these places, I find loads of, I call them crumbs, but I find so much crumbs of render on the wall, internal and external. And another thing I'll mention, there's another little complex like this, just round the corner, that literally about a minute away from this, and they've got a blinking pipe poking out the wall, and it's not the imperial or metric size pipe, right? So it's not like we use now, like 15 mil or 22 mil, and I couldn't identify the material either. It just gone orange, like iron. Well, it must be iron, I guess. But yeah, how could you get a pipe inside a wall facing outwards if that was not some sort of mix first? Like you could put a straight pipe
during that time period, like they claim.
Yeah, and another thing I've noticed about these, there's almost like light sockets in the walls, and you can see where they've chased out for cables and stuff. It's flipping incredible.
Wow. So does it look like the entire sort of structure is made of geopolymer, does it? Is that what you're thinking?
Yes, that's right. That is exactly right. So where we are now, we're next to a river, and that river is, I think it's about 100 feet above sea level. So the water, obviously, we're learning water comes from mountains from A and goes to B to the sea, and these are dotted along the line.
Yeah.
So this is one of the things. These will always be near a river, always, because you need the water supply. They'll always be buried. So they'll always have trees or mud or something put over it, 100%. And if that's the case, another thing they'll do is that if they'll dismantle it and just turn it into, like, smooth it out and turn it into a campsite or turn it into a golf course or something like that, or a nature reserve is a very popular one in England, nature reserves. But you can see, look, can you see all the keyholes along the walls at the top?
Yeah,
right, where they put like the walls and all the woodworking of it.
Yeah,
right?
so
the
that
interior structure of these.
Yeah, I believe that would be a suspended ceiling. So above that, you could start storing stuff, you know. So look, you've got the shaft, and this was lined with
Look
some.
at that shaft. That's insane.
Yeah, and we was up there, weren't we? At the start of this video, we was up the top of this. I think this place has two shafts. And apparently the narrative to this is apparently 500 men slept in here. But I don't know. They call them hermits, don't they? People that live in this place. And that's another thing. They call them hermits. And hermits like a word in England where you'd sort of like take the mick out of someone. So they've already psychologically stamped this with like less. Do you know what I mean? I'm trying to say,
like lesser, like it's like homeless almost, like hobo. You don't want to go around them. They're lesser.
If you pull that,
sort of
you can see door frame.
stigmatism.
A door frame went in there.
Look at that, like this, like walls,
This is-
shelves, seats, all carved into it or built into it. It was, if it's geopolymer, it was built into the original design. It's amazing.
But if you look at this image, this is in Malta, and you can see you've got the blocks on the right hand side. Yeah, that's covering up some sort of chase mark.
Yeah.
Something's gone there, right? And you can, oh, it's gone. That's all right. Yeah. You can go back to that. See this image, and you've got the chase mark coming down from the blocks. I believe this is either for water or a cable, right? And then it went into the building from here. Because this is the same sort of setup you get outside.
Yeah.
I know it's going to sound very weird, but in England, or I don't know anywhere, I know that in England you have a meter outside. So the water or the cable will come in, and then it'll go to the meter, and then you're charged from that inside the house. I can't think of any other reason why this would be like this. And again, and being a plumber, like the fall of this, like I can't see this being a cable, because I just imagine it being dead straight, like vertical.
Because of the angle.
Yeah, because of the angle, I think it might be water, so it doesn't stay stagnant in the pipe. So it always has to fall.
Yeah,
But,
well, I mean, remember you did that video on all the attachments to this, to the taps, didn't you? With the hydropower, those little engines and things.
Yeah.
So
exactly,
could just be a different way to get power in, just using water instead. Yeah.
Yeah, that could. Yeah, you're right. That could
the
be
hydraulic system of it, 100%. That it would have been engineered into it.
Yeah, and like I said, if you look at the arch of the window, you will see that they've left a bit of render on the arch of the window, and that's what I mean. They leave little crumbs everywhere. That door frame.
Look, door frame. Absolutely door frame, no doubt about it.
And another thing you'll notice about some of this beautiful geopolymer is that some of it is interlocking, where they've made it's like a 3D puzzle, mate. So you'll especially I found it in Liverpool a lot as well. In Liverpool, you'd have like interlocking blocks, so you could see where like one's been like one's made one way and one's made the other way, so they interlock, like that, so they can't go nowhere, and you see that a lot. And if you're seeing that sort of feature, like nature's not doing that, is it? Nature's not going to go and do something like that.
Oh, not at all. Like the polygonal style a bit,
polygonal.
The locking ones.
Yeah, no, I only laugh because it sounds like polygonal, doesn't it? Poly.
The geopolymer with the polygonal.
Yeah, see, me and my mate Nicky, we're going to be doing not a tour, but a meetup in this place in 2 months, and we're going to be because I did one in Portland, didn't I?
So is it legal to go in there, or is it still like fenced off or legal? You're not supposed to be.
I'm going to be honest with you, mate. I don't actually know. I just didn't even care. I just went there, so I don't even know. I think
I'm just wondering about it.
Yeah. I think it'll be all right because there's no one around. Yeah. But look at it. It's such a beautiful colour.
It's supposed to be forgotten by now, isn't it?
Yeah, covered up and gone.
I mean, it's just ridiculous. So, what do you think? Is it made by formwork, or is it like sacks of?
I think this is formwork. This one's formwork,
down half. Yeah.
Yeah, look at that.
That's ridiculous, man. Like what's that for, you reckon?
I think that's for a cooking.
Yeah, that's air vent for cooking, 100%. Look at all the soot marks. But how old that soot is that it's coming back off of it now that the majority is peeled off. Like that's ancient.
Yeah.
But it's built right into the structure.
Yeah, so me and Nicky are going to be going and do a tour here. We're going to meet up and we're going to it's not going to be a tour. It's just like a meet and a greet sort of thing, and have a walk around because there's actually there's actually quite a few bits in that area. There's Nicky there, so we're going to go look at that. Look at this. Look, so I get so excited. But look how high up we are now. We're well above and you can see like Look, that fence down there, I believe these were toilets. I believe. I can't see that being anything
They
else.
do
I
look a
can't
bit
see it
like
being-
the pictures we see of the Roman toilets.
Yeah, that's what I feel. That's what I feel because it's outside, and you wouldn't store anything outside, especially anything valuable, would you?
No,
Like
no,
food,
that you might have just,
clean water, anything like that. That'd be inside, up
out,
above. But look at the
Maybe
matrix.
that's why there's no toilets in Tartaria, right? They're all
Yeah,
outside.
it's funny because my nan had an outside toilet when I was growing up.
Yeah,
And a
well,
coal
that's
shed.
the thing in Australia. Everyone, had the dunny, man. The dunny, good old dunny.
The good old
It's
outhouse.
just bizarre that no one else has come across any of this stuff. Because
Yeah, I
there's
know,
so
but
much of it, isn't there? It's not like it's
I don't want to
one
blow
little
my own
spot.
trumpet, mate, but it's because of this blueprint, mate. Once you understand what you're looking for, or no, you know what you're looking for, but you've got to understand the certain boxes to be ticked, and when them boxes are ticked, you know there's going to be nuggets there, and it is abundant, especially in this area. There's so much going on, so much in this area. I also went underground on a canoe, on a boat underground, and I went through a whole city. And apparently there was, I was going through a limestone mine, a gold mine. I went under a graveyard. This is all on a boat for a city.
What?
But
Under?
the point is, they're ancient waterways. That's what I'm trying to get at. They're not new. They're ancient, and we're just going through them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also,
were you the one that went under Fleet Street? Is that right?
I went under Camden, in Camden. So I went under on a boat,
Camden,
on a canoe in Camden, and that was flipping. Woo. It's called Camden Catacombs, but it's not actually a catacomb.
Yeah, I remember that video.
Yeah. And also went to another place in Bristol underground. That was very scary. But apparently them tunnels were 1,000 years old, in the narrative, 1,000 years old. But again, you're going underneath the city, and you can just see like all different routes coming off when you're under there. But it's scary. You could hear rats going.
So did they? Because the story for a lot of them is that they used to be above ground, isn't it?
Yeah,
like
you can
see rivers.
See that, mate. You do see that because you can see where they've done a technique called shut and cover. Yeah, well, cut and cover. So, pardon me. Instead of like building on top and having it open, you will see that you've got the old stonework that was done, for instance, 1,000 years ago, and then you can see they've cast the concrete directly on top of that and started building the cities. But you only see that when you're going underground on the boats. And again, another place I've seen this is Nottingham, and I've got all this on footage as well. Because there's one part of Nottingham where I can stand underground, and you can see where they've cast all this concrete directly above all the sandstone. And then you can see they've put all the services like the water, the electric, and the gas running underneath it. And you think, imagine being the people doing the pipe work, and you're sitting there amongst all this ancient stuff thinking, what the flipping hell is going on here? And why the flipping hell have we built a whole city directly on top of all this to hide it? I think the people that do that sort of service work must be Freemasons. They must be like Freemason plumbers.
Doesn't make sense that you would cover a river up, does it?
Yeah.
It's just madness.
I knew that as soon as I went to take the dog upstairs to go to bed, that it would turn to ads. And I was like, I gotta go back.
This is very important. This is very important because this is how you know this is man-made. If you could take that back about 10 seconds, Bern, this shows you there's a look, right. This is right. So this is the cooker. First of all, this is a cooker, right? But if you look directly above it, there's a line of concrete. I'm not calling it concrete. It's a form of, it's called GPC, which is a geopolymer concrete. So it's the geopolymer with aggregates, a conglomerate of aggregates in it. So if this was natural,
right?
If this was natural, and this was, sorry,
this like 8-inch portion right here.
Yes, it's not. It's actually 4 inches. It's about 4 inches.
Okay.
But it runs round, and you'll see it. It runs round. And by the way, I just want to point out that this is a cooker on the. And look at the mix. Look how clean it is. It's just pure sand, or sandstone rather. Look, and then you've got stairs in it. Look. Like, so how did this?
Right.
How did you get a line of concrete in there? So if this is sedimentary rock, why did all of a sudden the earth start knocking up some concrete and decide to do that for 1 million years. You know,
Right.
and then go back to red sandstone.
And then go back to the original.
Yeah, why would nature do that?
Nice.
It's a
And
joke,
right
isn't
at
it?
the top of that layer too of the cooker, and where
Yeah,
they
yeah,
then
and you
break
can see
into where it goes up into the ventilation and whatnot. That's astounding point.
Yeah, but if you look at that cooker straight on, you can see where the shelves go, and you can see the top ones that you just pointed at. They are hinges, so you've got that at the top and the bottom, right? So you've got some sort of metal framing would have gone there, and if you go to the next level down, you'll see that the shelves went there, and then underneath that you've got the shelves again.
Yeah.
And then at the very bottom, you've got another set of like hinges.
Yeah, see, this has got to be some sort of plumbing or something like that from before, holding for the water. I bet you there was a whole nother layer, like, right? Because this is the main structure, and then they would have had the wood.
They would have rendered this
layer, the finishing or something, and then
exactly. Oh no, stay down there, Gil.
Look,
this is concrete. Did you see that?
Yeah, I saw that. Here,
this is just paint left over, by the way, because this place is. I think they stopped using these in the 1850s. But look, this is just pure concrete, or GPC, geopolymer concrete, and the sandstone is just pure red sandstone. There's no, and I keep saying this, but there's no marine biology whatsoever. For you to have sedimentary rock, sedimentary rock is full of marine biology, meaning it's shells, stones, like
organic
like bones. It's all that stuff that's meant to have fallen. You don't see that. You don't see one crumb of it in this place or any of them.
Just look at that, and like you can totally see very similar color to like
Petra. Look, a light bulb. Do you reckon a light bulb went there?
Sorry, bro.
Total faucet for the electrical and whatnot. It's just astounding. But yeah, Cam, bang on with how it looks like Petra, and then I'm looking at the Grand Canyon Pyramid Complex, the picture Isis Temple that we have as the background. It's the exact same color.
And of course, the Australian desert is that color.
Very good point.
All the keyholes. So all these holes that you see, wood would have gone in there, and that would create shelving, or that would create some sort of housing externally to protect something.
Like your drywall, right? You're in your different rooms, whatever you wanted, the interior.
And what was very peculiar about this, I don't know why this was doing this, but part of this red sandstone was turning white, which was very peculiar. And again, when I was in the Peak District examining another site, it was a certain stone called, I'm not a geologist, I'm just learning certain bits to understand what I'm looking at. So there was a certain stone called gritstone. And what I'm learning is there's so many different sandstones, but they're just excuses for the geopolymers. That's all they are. But going back to what I'm saying, when I was in the Peak District, I come across, like the circle doors in Dererenku or Derincenku. Do you know, in Turkey?
Yeah, 100%. I know what you're talking about.
Tons of them doors scattered everywhere. I also I picked up one of the rocks there and I threw it against the wall, and it's a white rock. And when it smashed, it was red sandstone inside. So something was turning all the red sandstone white, and I don't know what that is. I don't know if it's age. I don't know if it's weathering. I don't know. I honestly don't know. But something's turning all the red sandstone white.
Exposure to salt water.
So do you think that the red is a
very high possibility? Sorry?
Do you think that the red is an additive of some kind, like into the mix?
Yeah, definitely. It'd be some sort of iron oxide. It'd be iron oxide inside there.
Iron oxide or something.
And that will probably be part of the matrix to create the chemical binding or the crystallization, because that's what makes geopolymer strong.
Yeah. Yeah. And then that just is getting bleached out somehow in some of them. Wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
I've gotten actually several requests, Paul. We're going to have to do a follow-up stream with some of my real science Uber nerds that want to discuss with you a couple types of special geopolymer blends, one being piezoelectric, one being an insulator, and starting to combine the aspects of like these different monoatomic layers and then electric layers into this geopolymer technology and encasing and whatnot, that you're quite popular amongst my engineering friends.
Right, nice. That's very kind. And there is them elements, by the way, because the guy that feeds me my information, he's generational geopolymer expert, and he hasn't told me yet, but he's saving it. But he knows that there is certain properties you can do, or certain things you can do to these stones, and certain things you can add, i.e. Certain stones and crystals to them to make them electrical and hold charges and stuff like that. But he don't give me everything in one hit. Do you know what I mean? And the way he does it, he gives me a little bit and I have to go and learn it. So
that's the best.
That for me, that stuff for me is going to be coming later on, but it's there.
100%. And it's that'll be the whole point of this discussion, is that they'll be able to add aspects and help educate you in parts that you're unaware of, and vice versa, right? And that's what
I love learning, mate. I love learning. We
all do, right? The autodidactic alchemist. This is the perfect subject right here. Perfect team for what we're talking about. And this video here, I'm now sharing that you and a good comedian there reviewing your work. But this is also Portland, UK, and this is the polygonal, once again, polygonal. Shout out to Paul. But like this looks like the Cyclopean almost, but like definitely the megalithic, insane, ancient, huge, lost pre-cataclysm. More so like a different layer of past advanced civilization, essentially. That's also covered up, correct?
Yep. The whole lot is, the whole shebang. So what they do is they dismantle it, smash it up, and then cover what's left.
And that's where they'll usually claim it's a quarry or whatnot, right? Where it's
that's it. Well, this place is full of quarries, but they're not. I think there's 2 quarries on the island, and the rest are just smashed up sites. I've done 4 videos at this place, and this is where I've done the meetup as well. So we had like 30 plus people down here, all examining all the blocks, checking everything out. It was wicked. And these, I just want to point out, these had crystals in it and flint. And this is the flint is weird. Yeah, this is I can't remember if it's limestone or sandstone. I think it's sandstone.
Yeah, and I think the flint is a piezoelectric.
Basically, you're thinking that all like sandstone and limestone quarries are ancient geopolymer buildings that have been cut up, right?
Most of them could be, yeah. Most of them. There is some quarries that literally are doing their job, like actually quarrying stuff out. But what I've noticed is a regular thing is when I do go or come across these places, there is a quarry there, or there has been a quarry there. So it's just a bit suspect, you know. And it's a wicked excuse. And let's have it right. The material is A grade. So why wouldn't you reuse that, you know?
Yeah. Reuse it.
Like they did that with Portland cement. We're in Portland now. Yeah, they've done this with Portland cement.
That's just massive.
I know. Look at the size of it. Some of them blocks are like 6 foot long. Oh, yeah, get rid of her.
Wow.
It's incredible. But look, if you look behind my head and look how much earth has been pushed up that.
Right, and like
20 foot's worth of earth up there at a 45-degree angle.
And like that's got to be like 50, 80 feet tall at least.
It's humongous. Because that looks like blocks, you don't really get the actual size of it. But behind Craig's head is Abby, and she's 5 foot. And you could just by that you could tell how big it is. Like 2 or 3 of them blocks is her height. You know.
Like the scope is insane.
Is that a wall or a castle?
This is part of a starfall.
Our
And this-
favorite word of the day, Starfort.
Yes, it's part of a star fort, but the only thing with this star fort is it's where they house paedophiles. So Gary Glitter's living in here.
Really, it's a nowadays prison converted from original Starfort.
Yeah. So I think the actual prison's underground, I think.
Just tarnishing, ruining the energy of this once like most likely sacred healing place.
Crystal. Can you see that crystal?
Yeah. So the crystal is piezoelectric 100%. Look at that quartz. Wow.
Yeah,
so that is.
Listen, they are chunks. When I mean chunks, a handful, like a big handful like that. These blocks are, some of them are 2 foot wide. Some of them 2 foot by 2 foot. So when you're looking at something like the crystal there, it's like a boulder, you know. Look, you look, see, look at the size of these.
Just, it's mind blowing, and the fact that this is a admitted stated star fort, yet this is clearly megalithic, ancient work. Like there's nothing new about this. This wasn't built in the 1700s. Like this is clearly thousands of years old.
Yeah. And again, look at this. So what they've done over here, mate, is they've terraformed the whole land. And all these blocks were the same size.
100% star forts could be fractal antennas. It's the only thing that really makes sense out of it all. And the quartz being a piezoelectric aspect, then the flint probably dielectric. Oh, shout out 13th Monkey, pop in right when we say star forts. Love it. And yeah, like look at the whole landscape is terraformed with it. It's very similar-esque to like the Bosnian pyramids valley, how they terraform all of it.
Yeah, exactly the same, mate. It's exactly the same. And another thing about the Bosnian pyramids in this place is they've used, again, GPC, which is a geopolymer concrete. So these blocks down here are all made of a geopolymer concrete. And it's the same as the base of the pyramid at Bosnia as well. Humongous blocks. Look, excuse my little chicken leg, but look at the size of these. And these ones were full. Well, these ones were full of calcium, like lime shells. This could pass as sedimentary rock. This is what you'd expect sedimentary rock to be, compressed marine biology. But I know that they've used all the stuff in there for aggregates, because calcium is one of the main ingredients for the glue in the geopolymers.
And thus it's the chemical binding agent reaction.
Exactly that. So with the GOPs that I've made, that I've always found that putting the calcium dust, the shell dust in it, is one of the best things. Well, I've only made granite and sandstone, but I use sodium silicate and calcium hydroxide. Them together with iron oxide and sandstone or sand. That made red sandstone. Rock solid as well, no pun intended. Seriously hard stuff. Again, this is another. So the thing with Portland, something was going on in Portland. It was part of some megalithic old world complex, basically. And since then, at the time, I didn't know this, but I've obviously done further research. There's a place in Scotland, I think on the Shetland Islands, and it is exactly what this place, in my opinion, would have looked like, but in pristine condition. In pristine condition. You've got blockwork stacked up, you've got all terraformed land, and I just think the place is called Jolshof, and that's on the Shetland Islands. And this is what I believe this Portland would have looked like. So it's fascinating stuff. Look.
Oh, stupid ads. Like, what's this pyramid right here that this guy is blocking our view of? Oh, I so badly need to get YouTube Prime and just give in. This guy, where is this one?
This is in Portland again.
Still in Portland. Oh yeah.
Still
Duh.
in Portland.
Only I could read the title that is up on the screen.
Yeah, and another thing, Bern, is that I've been offered to go into Portland and go underground to a military complex. So apparently, this was an underground submarine base under here as well. So
Wow.
yeah, and
Definitely take that up, but live stream it so you don't go in and not come back out.
yeah, you know, mate, you know. I've had a few funny offers, and I think, do I not? It sounds too good to be true, mate.
Right?
But
Like
no, it's actually a friend of mine that's had the offer. So
that's amazing. So is this on top of the Star Fort, or is this a different area of Portland, or is that part of the same area?
Right. So, you know, when we just looked at the images a minute ago and you see in the background the terraformed land, right? And you see like the 45-degree angles. This is what you look at that. So this is that, but close up, right? It just done in a different style. So I guess it's part of, they had to put grass up that and it would have been a featured part of the terrain, you know, like a certain angle on the terrain, because that setup is identical to a place in Turkey called Hattusa, where you've got that specific shape and it's exactly the same sort of stones, all cut rough and ready, you know, it's exactly the same. So I don't know what it's doing. It's not actually a pyramid, but from that angle, it looks like a pyramid. It actually goes back a bit like a Toblerone. Do you know, like a Toblerone?
Yeah, exactly. I know exactly what you're talking about.
So it goes back like that, and I guess they put the earth up there and the mud up there, and it gives you the effect like the images we were looking a minute ago with the 45-degree angled terrain. But again, it's just part of the starfall. It's all part of the starfall.
And then there's this beauty of a discovery that you made that is just mind-blowing, of the Seed of Life design also put into it. You believe this is also the geopolymer? Was this in that same red layer?
That was not carved. There's no carve marks. There's no chisel marks. There's nothing like that whatsoever. Nothing. And I mean, like, you can see a joint mark going through that, right? So imagine like if you're carving, these bits would be chipping off.
No doubt, it'd be impossible. The only way is like they pulled the string out, or like the foundation, or the
like some sort of
cast
molding or
somehow.
something. Yeah, but if you look on the right hand side, there's actually a really poor image of something like, and you can see that they've done that to try and show you that it's like to make you think that this is not good, basically. So they've put a crap design next to that. Do you know what I mean? To make it think like they're both not as good. Look how much concrete is slapped on top of this geopolymer.
Right, look at that.
That's concrete. That's not earth. That's not mud. Because if that was mud, as soon as that got wet, the weight would just make it fall.
Yeah. No doubt. A second layer of... Wow. Right, like...
So yeah, we're just looking at the LiDAR here. But look, this is what I'm saying. These structures that are on the bottom of the right-hand corner, these are what I'm saying are buried here.
Yeah, exactly. And like these are images from like Turkey, Cappadocia, like you're saying there. And then just it's what's below this. It makes sense. And then you're also comparing the LiDAR and actually proving that there's these tunnels below.
Yep.
Just fascinating, man. Like it rewrites all of history. It literally...
Right, this knocks everything out of the water. This knocks everything out of the park. Because if this is natural, this looks like just concrete. Right, you can see this being put into some sort of full molding. That has been pushed up against boards. Like that is a geopolymer mix inside some board molding, because you can see the wood. Look at the render. This is render on the wall. Like if this was a cliff, like they claim in geology, like a cliff face, why are they putting render on the wall?
Right? Yeah, exactly. Like it just...
Look, render down there. It's render. So what you do with that is you paint over it, or you put wallpaper. Well, you wouldn't put wallpaper, but you could decorate on top of that. It gives it a finishing look.
Man, it just puts everything in new perspective and new eyes of how much has been truly covered up, and that
even that little wall in the background, that little thing I was just touching with the arrow, they even covered up little walls. There's little mini geopolymer walls. And what they did to cover it up is just put loads of, they put corrugated steel around it, and then they put loads of bush around it.
Just hiding it every which way
literally,
possible.
literally, that's all they're doing. Just hiding it.
If there's this much in the UK, I mean, are you thinking that it's like this everywhere? You know, all the
definitely
hills and stuff.
Can.
I mean, we talk all the time about forts are always on the top of hills. You know, it's like. So you thinking they're all covered buildings basically?
Yeah, definitely. They were all rendered. Is that what you mean, like rendered and that?
Yeah. Basically, so all the hills that we see, you know, these funny hills around cities and that, they're all pretty much buildings that have been covered up, not natural.
Some of them, if they're in limestone or sandstone, I'd say definitely.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So there's certain markers you're looking for.
Yeah, there has to be limestone or sandstone.
I'm just amazed how much there is.
Yeah.
There's just so much there in the UK, like one little island. And I'm just thinking there must be tons of it around.
There's so much, mate.
But I still can't find a good LiDAR site.
Look, this image has just been done with some geezer and an angle grinder, because you can see here, look, you can see this is done very poor, and this is next to the Flower of Life. So some guys come along, done this next to the Flower of Life, just to like have something amazing and then something really crap next to it, just to make you think, oh, maybe they're all fake, maybe it's all fake. But look, you can see an angle grinder mark. They didn't even put a line down here. Oh, you can't see my mouse anyway. But yeah, you can see it's really bad. That's terrible. Like, I can do a better job than that.
Yeah, I see exactly what you're saying. Like, look at this BS brutal, look,
they even missed their out. I bet they had a drink when they done that bit.
They missed that line there.
Yeah.
Impersonation of the original, essentially, is what I was trying to say. But it's not a person; it's a carving. It's a fraud. It's like, just, this is the new fraud that they want you to look at, instead of this amazing, super ancient, sacred geometry built into the actual wall. Like, look at this. Like that. Just
and
such
how far
a joke.
does it go down? Like, where does it? Yeah. And another thing is, when you turn it to the side,
on the reset, Paul? Like,
what's that, Cam?
Have you got any thoughts on the reset? I was listening to Michelle today, and she still pretty much thinks that there was just one reset, just a very long civilization, and then just one reset that destroyed it, and then here we are, kind of thing. Have you got any thoughts on that? Like, do you think it's one or many, or?
I think there's. I don't know. I know that it happens because, like, you can, like, we ain't living this life no more. You know, we ain't going around these structures no more. I think what they do is, like, over a period. It's only my opinion. I think over a period of time they keep tightening what they've got, so more stuff comes into play. I think. I don't know.
I personally believe there's most likely many resets, you know, like at least one or two major ones, but that probably the golden age of the cycles of every 24,000 or like 12,000 maybe. But, you know, that there might be smaller ones in between that time, but then a couple of grand ones. Probably at least like the Lemurian, then the Atlantean, then the biblical times into whatever sort of thing, or like at least a couple, right? That's what I suspect, right?
One big one per cycle.
Yeah, exactly. That too, right?
And lots of smaller ones in between.
That's probably what
I mean. That's the fall, right? Like, when I was talking to Ellen from Error of My Ways, she was talking about the great year, but you know how they normally sort of go gold, silver, copper, you know, sort of like from the golden age, it goes down slowly to, you know, to the iron age and then back up. But in the world she had, it went from the golden age and then it just dropped to the bottom, like literally straight away, and then it built its way back up to the top and then just dropped. So more like every cycle, there's like this big reset, you know, like because we only hear of one that we're told of, you know, which is the flood, right? So maybe that was the last big one, and who knows?
I know, that's what I mean. I don't like to get involved in that. I don't like to get involved in things where it's just
The
speculation.
politics and the conjecture, the speculation, right? It's like
I just get involved in what's going on, like something I can actually take apart and look at.
The geopolymer, that's the Paul science
question.
right there, the hands-on. Should maybe let you take over a little bit?
Have you thought about getting any scientific tests done on the geopolymer, like the makeup?
What of my ones or ones that I've found?
No, the ones that you're finding out in the...
Nah, because I'd love to get it done, man. But the pricing of that stuff is through the roof, mate. When I was looking at it, like it was. And another thing is, right. I was speaking to my mate about it, whose dad was a real geopolymer expert that done jobs for like serious people, and even he was telling me that when you take these samples to labs, there will already be an agenda in the lab, so you have to go in there and tell them a lie, because if you say it's part of a geopolymer or you think it's part of this, they're going to give you a false something back, a lie. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly. That's the same reason why I haven't sent my monoatomics off to labs, because I've heard that as soon as you state it, they instantly skewer the results and not going to give you the honest things back. And apparently it's the exact same if you do like a Sasquatch Bigfoot sample or like the elongated skull samples or whatnot. There's just certain things that in science you label it. It's like, no, we're gonna debunkify it immediately, and the only thing that is debunk is your bunk results we're giving you because you can't handle the truth.
No, that's it. Well, they're protecting the establishment, aren't they? They got to protect the narrative. So if you got a guy coming up with this, like it will blow everything through the roof, won't it? Because if I'm sitting here saying you've got all this ancient stuff everywhere and it's been hidden, well, the questions are, why the flipping hell are you hiding it? What's really gone on, and who is hiding it? You know. So that's why there's so much. And then on top of that, you've got, well, we've been fed a load of crap. Why are people going to university and saying this is geology? Why are people
like, do you know a whole industry behind them?
Exactly. So the reason they can't say this is because they have to continue the lies, should we say. They have to continue. So me going there with a bit of geopolymer, I can do that. It's going to cost me a good couple of grand, but I'm going to get a false answer from them.
False reading.
And not only that, they'll probably be watching me after that and all, you know, like what's he up to?
Paul, come check out this old Starfort military base submarine dock.
Yeah, you know, right? It does make me a bit paranoid sometimes. Like when I did that Portland tour thing, like mate, I was a bit paranoid then. I was thinking someone that just don't like me could turn up and like, I don't know, get a bit funky with me, you know? So
it's always a risk, right? The extremists out there.
Do you know what I mean?
It's weird.
Have a sip of this, Paul. So it does make me on the edge a bit.
Yeah, it's a clever system though. It's got the built-in stops, you know, all these people that'll defend it, you know.
Well, that's it. It's from day one, isn't it? You're brainwashed from day one. I mean, when you look at the Flintstones, like the program, like that's programming, because you're then thinking, oh, this world was so far away, you know, and we live in a completely different world now. This could not possibly be here no more. That's why we're seeing it in a program, you know, in a kids program. But it's abundant everywhere. It is abundant. And Fred Flintstone worked in a quarry, didn't he? That was quite interesting.
He did.
Very good point.
This is one of my favourite places in the world.
And you're going back there soon too.
I can't wait, mate. I can't wait.
That's multi, yeah.
Yeah.
Looks like a crocodile.
It does, doesn't it? It's funny how your brain works, mate, being
Mhm.
Australian, and then you see the crocodile. But look at that. You can see a
see an
service come
alligator,
down that
do
wall.
you?
Yeah. But yeah, look at this. So that star fault you just looked at, that geometric shape, right, is made out of this geopolymer, and you can see that it's been cut down. Can you see this bottom layer just above the pavement? That's the geopolymer layer, right? And then on top of that, you can see they've made blocks out of it, and they've put the blocks directly on top.
Yeah.
Look. So that there, all that star, what I'll just literally, this is pinpointing, by the way. So I'm pinpointing where it is. So this whole geometric shape was done originally in a geopolymer. And it's the same with Valletta as well. Oh, I might be showing you now. So this is where I lived. This is exactly where I lived over the road. But I did a video yesterday and I was talking about a train station in Liverpool, Edge Hill, and how identical it is to Malta. And it's identical to this. Look, so you've got all these doors. The only difference is this is limestone in Malta, and in England it's sandstone. Not in England, in Liverpool, sorry. But these, look how many entrances there are.
And how similar it is to that one red layer.
Yeah, I know, man. I know. But it's abundant everywhere, man. It has to be sandstone or limestone. That's the main thing. That's the first checkpoint.
We lost Cambell, but we might have Cambell back. Oh, we got Cambell back. I just gotta reconnect my experiment that I also wanted to show you guys. I'll let you keep talking here while I twinkle.
Can you pause that, Bern? Yeah. So, like I said before, I went around the whole of Nottingham, and I was finding all the sandstone bits that are poking out of the ground. And look at this. And directly above this is a tower block, and it's got like 10 floors, and it's got offices, houses, the whole shebang. Now, this is in Kent. I went around and mapped the coastline because I was saying it's fabricated. It's blockwork, ancient blockwork. It's just phenomenal. It's phenomenal. They've got features like buttresses up against the wall, and it's just phenomenal. Now, this is in Malta again. Sorry, I'm flicking through. This is another video, but I'm going to show you some render. Now, this render's actually called terrazzo. This is all cast, by the way, cast in sections. Yeah. And like I said yesterday in the video, look at this. Look at this. Look at that. That's phenomenal, isn't it? Blows my mind, geez. Yeah. But yeah, so basically, I'm going to show you in a sec on this video. It's going to pan around in a minute. The whole of this structure that covers the whole of Valletta was covered in this particular material that I'm going to show you now. Now, they've only left a little bit of it here on the wall. See this? The rest of it's been taken off. That's why you've got all the scratch marks, because the scratch marks make this.
Oh, okay. Yeah, right.
Yeah. You get it? So we're just going around looking at all these scratched up buildings. Yeah. But really, they were covered in this stuff. They were grand, beautiful buildings. Look at that. Look at that.
And so, that's what we see inside the big building still.
Yeah, of course.
Terrazzo, all these columns and stuff we see, they're not solid.
Well, this one's called terrazzo. That one was called terrazzo. And that's like people make floors out of it as well. You can make floors out of it, like marble-looking floors.
Yeah.
This is obviously some sort of sack or bag mark that's dropped, and people are going to go, look, again, sack or bag mark. So what I'm saying here is there was a geopolymer mix of limestone inside some sort of textile. Okay. Now, and it wasn't liquefied. It was more like, I can't use the word. I don't know the word, but more dried out a bit, but not so liquidy, a bit spongy. Yeah.
Yeah.
And what's happened here is the bag has fallen. Yeah. It's fouled. Because when I pan the camera around in a minute, you'll see all of this. And it's phenomenal. Like the only way you can get this.
Like a Hessian bag.
Yeah, like a Hessian bag or something's done that. But you'll see. And these marks are flipping humongous, mate. You can't do this. This is not blade marks. Look at this. the bag has fallen,
Mm.
and it's created this ripple from the top corner, and you'll see it.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, it's the folds. Yeah, right.
And when I was in Malta, and look how deep that is. That goes in about an inch, by the way. That's an inch deep. So it can't be a
Wow.
blade. If it's a blade, it'd be a completely flat surface because blades are flat. And this is just all ripples. This is ripples all up it. So the bag fell down, and look, you can see where it's like it's just got stuck.
Yeah.
But this bit's hidden, mate. You can't even see this. This is no tourist attraction. This is in a park in a corner behind a load of stuff. Me being me, I just go into anything. I don't give a monkeys. I'm like, I ain't having it. I'm going in and I'm having a look. But a lot of stuff that I went into in Malta has all been blocked now. Yeah. So I think they was adding steps, maybe. I don't know what was going on here. But again, you've got more of this like fouled bag mark. And this is very, very ripply, by the way. Like, look at the size of these ripples. Humongous.
Right, like look at those, like it blows my mind every time to see, and that what you've essentially discovered is the entire structure of Malta's like inner core, like the layers. It's all geopolymer, like the entire Starfort Citadel, everything was geopolymer.
Well, it seems like the old world, I don't mean old world like when we explore the old world tech. I mean the old world seems to be geopolymer, and that seems to be hidden. And I worked something out the other day. It's just something different words because I like etymology and things like that, right? So when you're making geopolymer, it's called a matrix. So all the ingredients together is called a matrix. Now I'm saying they've took the art out of the mix, and we're just left with the mix. So there's no geopolymer; it's just some crappy little thing. I was just playing with words in my mind. But
so do you think Malta's is or could be a man-made island, like the whole thing?
High possibility, very high possibility, given that its geological location, like bang in the middle of the Mediterranean. You know, like it seems more like a strategical point. You know, it's very, very, very suspect to be in that place, in that area, bang in the middle of the Med.
Yeah.
But look, I also found loads of very old tools as well.
Man-made.
I think these were the tools from like World War II. Because obviously a lot of stuff like World War I and World War II was literally to dismantle and take this place apart. That's why Malta was bombed the most in World War II, I think.
Right? Like it has to be all, whether it was man or whether it was giants or a combination of both. It was intelligently built by someone of a previous civilization in time. And like it seems like there's the megafauna of the pre-cataclysm Younger Dryas epoch of like the giant sloths, the mammoths, and all of that. And if every other animal was a giant version, even giant spiders and scorpions and everything, like dragonflies, everything was giant back then. And then like the dinosaurs or dragons or whatever the heck they were, giant reptiles also. It just makes sense that there was probably also giant humans or hominids.
Yeah. 100%, mate. So when I go back to Malta in a couple of months, I've got so much stuff that so much footage that I've lost, and so much stuff that I couldn't explain, because when I was there, I was under the impression that things were rock cut. But now I've learned about all this other stuff. I need to go back there and refilm certain things that I couldn't even explain. And I'm telling you, it's going to blow the internet up. That's even if I'm allowed back in Malta. They might even bar me for this stuff, you know? I might even get barred for this. Just like Graham Hancock's not allowed in Egypt. Paul Cook's not allowed in Malta.
Yeah, but he's got the number one.
Don't say that until you get there, Paul. Come on.
Yeah. True that.
You're
But
going to
let
be
me.
the
I'll say
next
one.
white supremacist, man, uncovering all this racist history.
Yeah, that'd be funny. But look, I just want to point out. Can I just, if you pause that, Burn, the whole of this starfault that you see on the right-hand side, right? You can see that it's geopolymer up to a certain level, and then they've made it with blocks on top of that. And when the camera pans around, and I turn from right to left, you will see that the houses below are made of geopolymer. So the front of the houses were blockwork because people are walking along the streets and you just see blockwork. But when you stand at it from behind, you'll see it's pure limestone geopolymer. Have a look. The house is down here. Yeah, watch.
Wow.
Yeah, I'll just let it play, Burn, and you'll see it. Look here. Look, all that. This is all limestone.
So much material, man.
Yeah, this is all limestone, but the front of the buildings are blockwork, and behind is this. It's just limestone.
Or at least made to look like blockwork, yeah.
So they've cast like walls
so
here.
that's basically poured.
Yeah, definitely.
So those buildings are essentially as old as the original foundation of the stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it's made from that same material. It's connected to it, you know. So it's got to be from that time. But it's inside. Look at the mix. This is one place I'm going into. This is one place that I was scared to go into because of where it was. But I'm going in there. This is one of the places I'll be going into. I shouldn't say this in case someone from Malta's watching, like someone, and blocks this up.
It's an entire building inside of there.
Inside there takes you into underground Valletta. Look, inside. Oh. Go inside.
Have you heard of St. Augustine?
Paul? Yeah, I've heard of that. Yeah.
In Florida, it's in Florida, and the official story is that like the city, the original city, like quite a few buildings are all poured like geopolymer, like not bricks, they're like cast.
Yeah, that's the old welcome.
Than this kind of stuff.
Yeah. I mean, on the right hand side.
Actually, I think it had like pretty thick walls.
Yeah, I mean, look how buried this is. This is what I'm walking around now is a theatre that got smashed up in World War II. But that theatre was built directly on some geopolymer structure. Because look what I'm walking along now. Look at the old channel, the water channels. Look at that. And they've literally, this is what used to be there. That was built on top of the geopolymer.
Wow.
But that got smashed up in World War II. Look, a cable. And look how much this is eroded, by the way, because you can see that this part, I can't touch the screen. There's a part sticking out. And you can see how much it's eroded below that. But this is a cable running through the geopolymer. But how old is that cable? Because this is what they do. They create a channel mark, and then they put something in there like a service or a pipe, and then they put blocks or slabs over it. So then you can render over it and you don't see nothing. These to me look like tension cables. These ones. I don't know what they're doing there, unless someone's took all the copper off. I don't know.
Ties or something.
Yeah, this
is that geopolymer that could be ties, like to tie the bags together.
Yeah, mate. Very, very good point. Very, very good point, mate. But look down at the bottom, you can see the geopolymer, and it's got the render over it. So these are chase marks. So a service would go in there, or like you just said, look at that, and then you just render over it, and you wouldn't even know it's there.
I mean, it's just. I mean, looking at this, I mean, Perth is literally built on stuff that looks exactly like this, man, like limestone, what we're told, sandstone, no, the old ocean bottom.
Mm-hmm. I mean, look, that's a cable
what's
again.
Out there, how much of this is out there?
Yeah, pardon my filming skills here. I've only just learned the hang of it.
Is F, brother. Like, it's amazing. It's just going to be all the more amazing when you get back there, and the upgraded quality. And techniques you've learned, and I'm going to demand that you do at least 5 episodes on the hypogeum.
Yeah, definitely. You're not allowed to film in there, though, are you? You're not allowed to film in there.
We'll have to sneak in.
Yeah.
Ominous.
Not
Well,
allowed
actually,
to,
I've seen
but
these
there are
glasses.
ways.
There's glasses that you can buy that's got a camera in them.
Oh, with
and I
little
might wear
cameras
them.
in them.
Yeah, I might
Nice.
actually get them.
There you go.
So this is just like something you'd see in. It's not a million miles away from Turkey or anywhere, but this is something you see in Turkey. But what they've done is they've just built on top of it, and for some reason, it's not in the Maltese consciousness. Like they don't think much of it. They just think what they think is, well, not all of them, and I'm not putting them down at all, by the way, because that's just what they're told. But they're told that these were dug out in World War II. Yeah, they were told it was done in World War II, and I'm just showing you now the similarities between when I was in Bristol, the limestone, to the limestone here. It's very similar. And that's the best thing about all this. Like I'm building up a portfolio as I go along. And the bigger the portfolio gets, the more dots I'll be able to connect together. Like say 2 years ago, I'd only been to about 15 sites and I'd only have like 15 different folders. Now I've got hundreds and I can go into one and go, oh, I see this here and I see this here, and I can start putting things together more. So it's all about building up the portfolio, not to show, just so you've got ammo in your arsenal when it comes to paint a picture.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's just one more strike check mark next to the evidence.
Yeah, exactly. And when I go back there, I've got a new camera now, so it shoots in 5.3K. So this is Malta, beware, mate. You're knackered now. You're knackered. But look, can you see the geopolymer at the bottom? Yeah, and then they just built directly on top of it with these blocks. They haven't dug down for foundation or nothing like that. They just done straight on top of the geopolymer.
Oh, exactly. Like there's probably an entire city underneath there. There is an
100%.
entire city. We know that there's probably 2 or 3 cities below there.
But I'm just this here. I'm showing you here because,
right?
Yeah.
Did you see that the chat we had with Analog at all, Paul?
What one?
The stuff he's been finding.
Who's Analog?
It was with Andreas Thurtis and Analog. He's not on YouTube. He's just on Twitter mainly, but he goes through all the old newspaper clippings, and he's found heaps of stuff like with like big like massive walls, like buried like 20 foot underground and stuff all through the Americas. And
what's this geezer's name?
Pretty cool stuff.
Oh, my cat.
Analog. What's the full name, Bernie?
Waking Up with Analog, and his name is Ben. He's got a few videos with Zertis as well as Old World Florida, a bunch of, and we'll be doing some more episodes.
Just put a cut up on. I just put a cut up on Auto 2 from our chat actually. And it's got a link under it to the full for another full interview with Zertis. So check him out. Waking Up with Analog.
I love stuff like that.
And everyone in the chat too. Yeah. He's been going into it for like 7 or 8 years, I think he said, and he just literally just goes through all the old newspaper clippings and just reads what they were actually writing at the time back in the 1800s and all the stuff they were finding. It's just it blows your mind.
Yeah, that is literally blowing my mind now. I want to go and look at this geezer now. I love stuff like that because back then they weren't trying to hide it like they are now. Yeah. So that stuff.
Exactly. Yeah, they weren't hiding it at all. It was just because it was all independent stuff. You know, there wasn't a big brother that could get in there and you know like get rid of all the articles because they're all independent newspapers and stuff. Are you on Twitter? Are you a twit?
No, I'm a twat. No,
you're a twat because I think his main channel's on the Twitters, and that's where he posts all his actual cuttings, the actual newspaper articles.
Yeah, that's wicked. I'll check that out. But
I might have to
on the
collect
same,
them. Yeah, I might have to collect some and make a video.
yeah, I keeping it on that vibration. When I was with Nikki up in Bridgenorth, we was looking in some cave. Well, I had my legs poking out of a cave, like, do you know what I mean, dangling out, and there was a newspaper in there, and it was from 1971, and it was in pristine condition. I know it's only 50 years old, but we was reading it, and it had it was advertising medicine. It was all medicine that was being advertised in the newspaper. Couldn't believe it.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Did you hang on to it? I mean, it's not too old. It was pretty old.
No, I put it back. It was raining
me.
and it was wet, so I just left it there. I put it back in its place.
Oh, okay.
Speaking of old world healing, that's another thing you get into a lot. Is the electric tech of 100, 200 years ago a lot. Oh,
yeah. I mean, I've got a box here, mate.
Yeah, do you want to maybe, if you got it there, show it up? Beautiful.
So this is called a magneto-electro machine. And it's literally, I'm restoring it now. So I don't know about the lighting. So this is it here. This is her. This is the baby.
So look at that beauty. We can see her good.
So you've got the wheel. This will spin. It spins these copper coils, and obviously it's passing constantly through the magnetic field. And my cat's falling down. And your hands will be connected to these basically. So you plug this in. It's got a wire around it, a metal wire, conductive metal wire. You plug it into there, and you've got another one. You plug it into there. So the guy or the geezer, the doctor, will wind this up, and it will create a current, and it will go through these and pass through your body. And you're meant to put it on one part of a damaged part of the body, and you're meant to hold the other part. So it goes direct to the damaged bit, and then passes back through for a circuit. That's how it works. But this has got a little meter on the top, and it says electrical indicator. But I don't know what it's measuring, because it goes 5, 10, 15, 20, all the way up to 100. So I don't know what that is measuring. I've got a PDF for it now, so I am going to be looking into it. But there's also another little knob at the side. I took it apart and put it together just to find out if there was anything missing. But this wheel, I mean, look how grand that wheel, just for a little wheel. I mean, I don't know if you're going to see it, but it was really well detailed, bit of brass, you know. And the meter, if you can see that well.
Oh yeah.
But my point is, this little knob here, when you twist it, when you go clockwise or anti-clockwise, it puts tension on a cable here. This little cable, you won't be able to see it. And I don't know what that's doing. I think that's doing something to do with the magnetic field. So it's keeping it at a specific distance. So when the copper wires are passing the magnetic field, it's creating a specific current. That's what I believe. That's the only explanation for it. But it says in here, I'll read it out to you in a sec. In there, it says magneto-electric machine for nervous and other diseases. This machine has been designed expressly for the use of the medical profession and for invalids who are unable to take exercise, suffering from rheumatism and various other complaints. So yeah. And do you know what it smells like? Oh, it smells old. It smells like an old sports hall when you was a child at school.
Ooh, it's not the good old, the stanky old.
Yeah, that like smelly, dirty wooden feet sort of smell, you know. But that's been around. That's 170 years old, Bernie. So that's been around the block, mate.
Man, you're getting it working and restoring it. That's actually amazing. There's so much to you. You're such a depth. You're like an onion, Paul. Just layers upon layers of amazingness.
Cheers, mate. Thank you. But with that being said, I'm also, if I had the money, I'd buy it all straight away. But there's two other pieces of tech that I'm going to be getting. So one is the electromagneto brush, which is, I don't know why I brush my hair. It's not actually for hair. It's for skin. So it's like this it creates a static electric charge, and it's meant to heal you when you brush certain parts of your body. Pardon me, parts of your body. And there's also another one called the ultraviolet ray I'm going to get. And that one's going to be very good because it actually shoots out like electric. Have you seen that? It shoots out the electric into
Yeah,
yeah.
the blue the plasma arc.
Yeah, so that's another one I'm going to be getting. And the reason I specifically chose them three is because I've got extremely good, high quality images of adverts of these things. So not only can we sit there and play around with it, we'll also see what's going on with it and how they advertised it back in the day.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And like you dig into so much of these old books and like the science magazines, the electronic magazines of 100, 150 years ago. And even that, just there's been a literal reset of consciousness and technology in that timeline. When we're talking about resets, that it's mind-blowing how advanced we truly were on the analog level only 100, 150 years.
We've gone backwards, mate. We've gone absolutely backwards. You know, I mean, just look at electric cars. The first electric car was 1832. What's that, 190 years ago? Like 190 years ago, they brought out an electric car. And now they're pushing it now. So what's happened? Like what I know what's happened. I know what's happened. It's the petrol, wasn't it? They pushed for petrol because people owned these petrol companies. That's what it was all about. And now the same thing is happening, but it's just shifting to electricity. So it's yeah, all things that happen in our lives are done by people for profit above a higher, much higher echelon or higher realm.
I couldn't agree more with you on that one. It's sad, it's sickening, but that's why we're coming together and sharing this and figuring it all out and making for a better 2023 where free energy is coming to you and me, as is energy healing and so much more.
It's going to be knocking on your door.
Right? Exactly. We already are. We're here. It's happening. Which was the other one I wanted to show of yours that I had loaded? The free energy devices of or was that the one I was playing right there? No, I was playing.
I'm not sure, mate. Do you know what? I've actually gone and deleted a load of my videos. I've deleted about 100 of them. Not deleted permanently, but I've took them off. And it's mainly old world tech. I think I mentioned before I'm going to separate. So I've got two channels. One's going to be out and about, boots on the ground, and one's going to be old world tech.
That's a good call.
That's further down the line. Like I've got to nurture it yet. I've got loads of work to do.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna start doing. Is a couple of like my weekly shows on one channel, and then specific research and alchemy on the other channel, and you know, separating it more, 100% organizing it, right? And
yeah,
it's what it is about. So this one's your old world tech video that's still up. It's fairly recent, I think a month old or two. And like right here, you're showing one of the electric cars where what the heck, like.
No, Burn, this is not an electric car. This is a car that runs on ether. Well, yeah, electricity from the ether. So,
yeah, ether. Yeah, right? Yeah. Like etherical energy. Just.
And this is like in Malta, you see these little balls are on top of nearly every house. And I always thought, what the flipping hell are they doing? They must be collecting something. But that's where they collect the charge from the ether, and it comes into the house, and that's a point where you can connect your old world tech to and get electricity from.
100%. It's a giant spark gap. Spherical antennas that are pulling it in, the plasma energy out of the ether. You're bang on with that.
But these are old images of like I think these are early 1900s.
Electric scooters,
exactly. I think I don't know if that has a Royal Mail, which is the English post service, or it was a post service in a different country, but they're kitted out with bloody electric scooters.
Right, exactly. It's like we all thought it was just this new revolution like 10 or 15 years ago, and it's like no, that's actually 150 years old. Just mind blowing. And these devices right here,
Yeah, these are all, you know what these are anyway. These are static generating. These generate electricity statically, and they've also got Leyden jars. So these are Leyden jars where you store the electricity. So what you're looking at is things that generate it, and then things that store it.
Exactly. Your own home electrical power station.
Exactly. And again, I had a book from the 18 or maybe the 1900s, and it was a children's book, well, a teenager book, and it was showing you how to make electricity at home yourself and store it, like in this little Leyden jar that you're going screening past now. Up at that Leyden jar, look, this is a series of them, so it's like a battery.
So exactly, it's a cell. It's a huge cell, storage cell.
Yeah, look at this. This is just phenomenal stuff. So again, you've got the two balls. Can you see that power? Like on the other side, not what I'm looking at now, on the other side. So these are the two balls. Like one's going to have the power, and that's where you draw it from.
Oh, the smaller and the larger.
Yeah, yeah. So this one would be, I guess, on the top of the house, and then you connect to this one to go and get the power from it. And you can discharge these as well, mate. You can discharge them.
Right, and it's one goes to the ground, one to the atmosphere antenna, and then it's the differential between the two that will give you the biggest.
If you can scroll that up a bit, Ben, there's a certain handle or device that you can use. Oh, you can't scroll it up.
No, sorry, it's the video playing. Oh, here we go.
Yeah, so right, that's it there. Like, see that thing on the bottom left-hand corner next to the Leyden jar? It looks like
this
other
guy.
side.
This guy.
Yes, that. So you've got the Leyden jar, yeah? That stores static electricity inside that.
Yeah.
Right? The thing next to it is what you God, I've gone mind blank now. How you get rid of it if you don't want the electricity in that that's it. So you connect the ball to the top and you touch the foil around the outside and it discharges it safely. So that's how you get the power. Yeah. So you get the power out of the jars, so you can transport them or do. I don't know what you want to do with them.
Or connect the jar to the Van de Graaff generator. Wilhurst generator, I guess. Well, Wimhurst, yes, Wimhurst.
Wimhurst, that's right. Discharge, that's right. Sorry, guys. Yeah, I'll go through so much information. It's hard to pick out something on demand sometimes, you know.
Oh, I feel you, brother. I'm the exact same. Like, just so much knowledge all at once, and then always when you go live, you can never remember like the most important word or
the most basic word. The most basic word. You're like,
yeah, God. That too, for sure, right? Like, finally remembering Guan Pong Do in the basalt place out in the islands in Polynesia or Micronesia or whatnot. Could never remember it. Or once again, still can't remember it. Every freaking time I forget the name of the one in is it Cambodia or the Epic Temple? See, once again, brain fart every time. Anywho, I'm gonna shut up and stop fumbling and mumbling and let you continue on describing.
All right, mate. God, I don't know what we're up to. I'm just waffling on and on. Free flow BS.
Leyden jars, and then
this is it. This is wicked because this is actually showing you in how it works. So you'd wind this up. You'd wind this up.
Apparatus. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry, mate. Yeah, you wind this up. You can see you can spin that, and it will create a static charge, and that charge will be transferred straight into the Leyden jars.
Anchor watt. Thank you. That's the name I always forget. Anchor watt. Everybody knows. I stutter on it every time and forget it. It's ridiculous. But yes, the Wimhurst generator to the Leyden jars, and then what's this little grid circuit thing they have?
That's what I was just looking at.
That's a series circuit there, like a little breaker board.
Yeah, I mean, I must have. What's the word?
Fascinating.
Spoke about this in a video, but I can't actually remember what this little gadget's doing. But I know it's taking power from the Leyden jars.
Right, and it's showing wiring them in series,
and then
the anode cathode discharge part, or
Yeah,
cathode
I think
anode.
there's a lot of stuff to do with galvanized stuff as well, and magnetism.
Exactly. The galvanized is how the batteries essentially work and distribute the aspects of this electrolysis reaction, and within the Leyden jars and all, and modern day batteries too. It's the science of batteries.
But one thing, Bern, that I did, because I'd sit there, and the thing is, this is what's good, and I don't want to blow my own trumpet, but I sit there and ask questions. I sit there and say, like, so, all right, why are they generating power 200 years ago at home? Like, what are they doing? What do they want the power for? And then when I started doing the research, obviously, when you ask questions, it comes to you, doesn't it? Like, not instantly, but a day later, you'll get shown. And then I come across a magazine, like from back in the day, and it started showing me games that were done with this tech, like electrical games from the 1800s. And it was like duck hunt games when you shoot a duck and the electric will make the duck fall down. And you think, wow, like they were doing that stuff like 200 years ago, 150 years ago. So you'd sit there in your room with a fake gun, and it'd be like, it's all done with like static electric. So as soon as you shoot it, it falls down. Like, that's the game, you know? But like from back then, electrical stuff, like, you're like, wow. That's phenomenal.
Like, if they could figure that out, they could figure out a light bulb and lights, and then all the stories of the forever running lights and the Dendera bulbs and the Baghdad batteries. I'm pretty sure there was magicians or wizard kings that that the demigod king rulers, they all had this electricity that they just called magic, and hid from the average people over and over. And what's really fascinating here in this top left corner of this depictions looks like the stacked cell batteries as well, another type of battery with it. So it's just, wow, the amount they cover up and hide is beyond.
It's phenomenal, mate. It's phenomenal. And that's why schooling is so important, because if you go to school, you're not going to go and research this stuff. You're going to be programmed in a room for the next 18, 20 years of crap about how to live your life for the next 40 years in the world they've created. They don't show you this stuff. This don't even exist. Like, apparently electricity come around when the light bulb come around in 1880s or whatever it was. It's just all a load of cobblers, isn't it?
Well, it truly is. Like, look at all these different types of batteries they got going here in the different cells.
This one looks like a hand grenade, doesn't it?
Right? Like, just... This one looks like a Joel cell.
But the thing is, like, I made one of them, and they're so. I made the Leyden jar, and they're so basic. It's just so basic. It's unbelievable. Like, if you was trying to make a battery now, like, you wouldn't be able to do it. You would never be able to do it unless you had factory facilities.
Yeah, well, they make them so complicated, and
exactly.
Also
so you can't do this yourself. Like I was saying a minute ago, Cam, this is all stuff you can make at home. And I found all this in a children's book, like a teenage book. And it was telling you how to do it all at home.
I know, and all we get taught is, they were just glass, clay jars, back from Mesopotamia, and they might have been, gold plating something with it, and that's about it, But look at all this stuff.
Exactly. And like, clearly they were advancing it, and like, this is just the most basic that they're teaching children. They're probably 10 designs or evolutions higher of it that was kept for the elites that actually powered full systems.
Well, there's that book that was going around a few years ago, and it was I think it was like the last school, like the last year of primary school, and had like a test in it, and it was harder than what you get at university, pretty much. And it was like primary school kid stuff.
That's amazing.
It shows that we have been dumbed down in a sense, So if a man of our age can't, or if a child that's 16 can't do something.
Imagine if you were taught these principles when you were young, and just taught them, and so you understood them from, for your whole life, how easy everything would be.
Well, this is the thing that I've noticed, right? I've obviously I've now there's a network of people now, right? And one of the guys in this network, he's from a different life. Like he is from like, and when you speak to him, you can just tell that he's lived a different life. He's talking to stuff about half of the stuff he talks to me about I have to go and write down and Google after because I don't know what he's on about. And you can just tell that he's from a completely different life. And my point is, like, I'm a council estate kid growing up. Do you know what I mean? I like come from nothing, just a normal guy going to school, going to work. Them characters don't get taught nothing. You just get taught how to live your life for the rest of your life without asking questions. But when you speak to the guy that I know, it's the geopolymer guy, the generational guy. His knowledge is phenomenal across the whole spectrum, and it's not just in in anything. And what my point is, like, they're just wired up different. They're just wired up completely different to us.
Yeah. It's like farmers, they have to know how to make everything, how to fix everything and do everything themselves. They just see the world differently. And, to school kids today who sit there and expect everything to just come from Amazon. Like most, this is the thing, we're at the point where a lot of people can't wash their clothes or cook their food.
I know, literally. It's so sad. It's so sad. Do you know what? It's mainly the generation under me. I think my generation was the last one. Like when I left school, that's when phones started coming in. So that was it. It's game over. As soon as the phone's in, mate, game over. I don't mean like the 3310 when you can just text or play Snake. That weren't consuming your time. It's when you got the black screen. You got the scribing mirror. The scribing mirror. Yeah. That's what's consuming, mate. It's taking everything, like the TikToks, all that. It's just boom. You ain't got no time.
100%. But luckily, the TikTok, some of this stuff's trending, and sadly, they banned me, those savages. Hopefully, I'll get it back one day.
You're banned off TikTok, Burn?
Yeah, I had an account for 2 months. I got 2,000 followers in 2 months, and then they're just like, "Oh, you're banned. Oh, we're not letting you create a new account. Oh, we're not letting you appeal the decision. You're gone. You're done." And literally all I had pictures up was like of Bert and Ernie and my alchemy experiments. That's literally all it was.
Wow. I think it was Bert and Ernie, mate. Come on. Did you put their pronouns up? That's the question.
Oh, God, yeah.
Right? It's like, did I? And I didn't even make the joke of if they were a gay couple that I'd be myself.
What do you get when you put Bert together with Ernie? That's right, Bernie. Now, that's not a rude joke either, people.
You can see here the guy's actually discharging this one here. Like, you've got the little hand coming out on the right-hand side.
Oh, yeah, good point.
Yeah,
good
cool.
call.
Yeah.
The ground there,
yeah.
Is that a spider coming down from...
Probably. This picture is like a conglomerate of all different things happening. So it's not what the guy's seen. It's just everything working together. If that makes sense.
Absolutely. And then each of the letters are labeled, and then there's the description probably on the next page explaining each part.
But yeah, look at this. You can see the house. Can you see the house? This little house in the corner. And you can see that it's got the ball on the top. So that was collecting the static electricity, and it's getting come down, and somehow they're drawing it off inside. Look.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. You're so on point. So that ball's going up the chimney down, and then they have another one going up above it that's connected to a big pole above it that's to the ground and bringing the ground energy up.
And it's connected by a chain to another one.
Yeah, man. It's scary stuff,
in the
mate.
Balls, man. Mercury. It's got to be, right?
It's amazing stuff. Nothing scary about it. I'm excited. I love it.
Has this got text in it, Paul? Like, is this...
Yeah, this has. But, I'm going to be honest with you. I can't remember how I obtained this because this is a couple of years old, I think. Well, the images are a couple of years old for me. So I've just had the images on my laptop.
I do have the PDF. An email from you from like a year ago with the stack of links to all these magazines. If you've
it'll be in there, man. I definitely do have it, but I just don't have it all.
Yeah, you did send me that. I got to go back through that. I downloaded them, and I've been meaning to. 100%. Hopefully, it's in English.
That's what I was thinking. But I think a lot of them were like the popular mechanics and all that kind of stuff were all English.
Yeah. Modern Mechanics. I sent over 9 of them ones, or eight of them. They're like comics, weren't they?
Yeah, and heaps of advertising and stuff, but just really
man,
cool
so much
stuff.
stuff in there. It's phenomenal. Well, that's how I found out about the high pressure network and things like that, and the dynamos that run off the high pressure.
Yeah, I saw the video you did. Was it yesterday?
Yeah.
Where you were showing all the underground canals and all the pipes and stuff. I pulled up. Have you looked into the machine of Marley?
No, I know about it though. I'm fully aware of it. In fact, I'm aware of it through you, Cam.
Yeah, I was about to say, Cam, you introduced Paul to it last time. You should definitely bring that bad boy up again.
I think I've got a few bits. Hang on.
But you know what? Someone last night translated 90% of them images for me. You know.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I've kept it. I'm going to keep it completely natural because I'm going to read it as I go along. I wanted it to be authentic. I didn't want to read it and then I wanted to share it at the same time with everyone, if that makes sense. So I read one page just to see what it's saying, and I was like, "Oh my god, I've got to save this when I'm on the live."
And like, my god, I'm looking at this right now. Right in the center, there's those 2 discs, and then it looks like kind of water between it. But that's a magnetic field. Electricity, plasma stuff.
Yeah.
Vinnie Vincent, the guy with Ed Lead Scallon's rebuilt flywheel, have exactly this from the ground, and he like is able to levitate rocks through it. It's a huge charge coming between the 2, and they're literally describing it, showing it here. Like, I had so many things are coming together.
Yes, mate, that's it.
And
phenomenal, it really is phenomenal.
It's only the quickening, right? We're reaching that point of the
apocalypse, man. The great unveiling, the singularity.
The singularity, that's the one I'm going for. Screw the apocalypse. I want the elevation.
Screw the
So all this tech is from the same era as my electrical healing box down here. It's all the same sort of principles as well. And that's the reason why I decided to explore this, because that's the thing with being YouTube. You've got to find the medium between what you like and what the audience like.
Yeah.
Like, there's no point in just doing everything you like, because then no one's gonna watch it.
Exactly,
so like you've got to find out the medium, and I think like this tech is perfect. It ticks all the boxes. So that's the reason why I chose that.
Yeah, it's very nice.
Do you have a leather strap to wrap?
Oh, a Brucey bonus.
Brucey bonus. Who's Brucey?
Bruce is a British TV host or presenter from the 70s and the 80s and the 90s. Like he is part of English history. Like he's been around. He's brown bread now. He's not about now, but he's anyone in England my age or older will know the guy. And he had a lot of phrases like he'd do nice to see you nice, and just all things to get the crowd going. Do you know what I mean? He's one of them guys. Yeah. But there is a cliche slogan that gets thrown around by older people, like about Brucey bonus and things like that. So it's mainly it's aimed at the older people, really. But it's an old TV presenter.
Palms, mate.
Yeah. It's a bit like what's that? Lily Savage, not Lily Savage. Dane Edna.
Dame Edna Everidge, yeah.
Yeah, so it's the same as that, but he was like a mouse.
Cross-dresser?
No. So you got the programming a lot earlier than me.
Yeah, man. Dame Edna, that was at Chill's house. It was a household name, man. Like,
exactly. Massive. So that's what Bruce Forsyth was like in England. Like just a TV
possums.
Yeah,
you get Bruce and bonus when we get hello possums.
Hello possums.
Hello possums.
I love it. And
do you mind if I make a drink? Do you mind if I quickly make a drink?
Yeah, me too. Campbell, did you want to show some of that stuff? Or I guess if we're both taking off to grab a drink quickly, we don't really want to leave you all alone explaining stuff. Or
I'll only be a minute anyway.
Should I play? I can play a little Brucey bonus of Dutch since mentioned us and Star Forts.
Oh, did he mention me?
Not yet. We got to get you. We got to get him on so he meets you. I'm sorry.
God, everyone's getting shout outs with me.
Oh, but we love you, Campbell. Shout out to Campbell, the Autodidactic that brought us all together to begin with.
All right, everyone that's here, make sure you
You
subscribe.
know what's funny? Is it as you two guys when I lived in Malta when I very first had a channel that I spoke to? Was you two speaking to each other then?
We
Yeah.
just started back then, yeah.
That's flipping crazy, isn't it? That's absolutely crazy, man.
And
That was like 4 years ago, 5 years ago.
Oh no, maybe not that far back. Three years now at least.
That makes it even more spooky because we didn't even know each other then, but we was all talking to each other individually. That's weird. That's very strange, isn't it? Like, I remember Cam, you used to write. I think at the time you had like 30,000 subscribers, and I'd write something, and you write back, and I'd be like to Abby, I'd be like, "Oh my god, he wrote back." And Bert, you used to leave like you used to read you used to watch my videos in Malta thoroughly because you did.
Oh yes, absolutely.
You'd do a script after on all the bullet points, and at the end of it, you'd sign it with Burn Eye, Mind's Eye, Science Guy. And for some reason, I always thought you was like a redneck Indian. I don't know why. Because I never see your face, did I? It was always just like you know what I mean? And the words you were saying, I thought, oh, maybe he's an Indian, like redneck. But then now, 5 years, we're all here talking.
Too.
Redneck Tartarian.
Shouting me out. Thank you for everyone shouting me out. I do appreciate you all. Oh,
we love you. And look at this. See, you inspired. You definitely inspired Dutch. And we will. He keeps telling me each week. I'm going to email him again tomorrow. And this is the Philadelphia, I think he showed. No, St. Louis. But I'm going to shut up and his words.
Giant star fort, supposedly. But it's not a fort. There's a river flowing out of it. And it's going down to off the plateau and coming down to. This is 3 miles long. And the structure itself is about a mile wide or a mile long. Here's the key in the upper corner, this 3 mile key. So looking at it, it's in North St. Louis. Downtown St. Louis is here. So I decided to overlay this on a map at a 3 mile distance with the key up there. And guess what's there? This. See this big dirt splotch there? The government is digging this out right now to build something. The giant geospatial agency. Now I'm going to zoom in and show you what's really here. You can see it in the streets still. Do you see it? Here, let me show it. Let me trace the streets out for you in case you don't. We're going up here to the pinnacle tip of this. And we're coming back down here and it goes right down to the river. It's the same distance. Oh, I'll be. And then it comes back down here, follow the streets, comes back through the highway. Do you see it? They've done the streets this way to mimic the old Star Fort. Now, to seal the deal that they're doing something here in the middle of this, up here at the north side are the old water towers for St. Louis. Do you see it now? Here, let me trace it out for you. I got to center it perfectly. There we go. Now that it's centered perfectly, you should be able to see it. Again, you have to turn it north, where the point is pointing north. Then you can see it. This is downtown St. Louis, and it's perfectly proportional. This is the geospatial agency being built in the middle of the old Star Fort. Huh. And the Star Fort is, look how many miles long it is. 2 miles long. We're like one of the biggest structures on the planet it would be. If you know what I mean, literally think about a fort 2 miles long, right? Now, right, like I said, right up here at the pinnacle tip of it is our old St. Louis water tower. And this is the worst part of St. Louis economics-wise. It's literally been abandoned. But look at our water tower. Hashtag Tartaria. And this is, of course, the water tower is really where the water used to flow from. And to let us know that the government is aware, they built projects here. Low-income projects with an X marks the spot pretty much right in the middle. And they built a school right out in the front that's been abandoned.
A very strange day is coming to America. In short, a massive and surprising new transition could soon determine the next group of millionaires while leaving 90.
Oh, nice work.
Come in and buy the school, guys. It's for sale. Maybe I'll go buy it. Should I do a fundraiser and buy this school and open up the Dutch School for Geophysics in the hood, like up in North St. Louis, and just try to look at it? The whole place has been abandoned up here. Anyway, they got the school at the pinnacle tip of it, which has been abandoned. They're building the geospatial agency in the middle of it. It's miles and miles and miles long and can't be a fort built by the French. And it's another example of the government digging into the center of a star fort to build a huge facility. I'm just going to say it. They're digging in to get something else or get access to it. It's unmistakable. That's now, how many examples have I shown you? I've shown you now 7 or 8 examples just in this update. So certainly people at the government, and that's the geospatial giant star forts.
And the key point being that he shows this battery, this original battery star fort in St. Louis, and he shows that it's a canal of water coming up to it and connecting directly to the river, and where the center of that water battery is where that water tower still stands in the community today. This guy right here. So it's like it was pumping that water from the very beginning, and that it was probably old world there before when they found it, reclaimed it, and
our old,
it's mind-boggling. And then where's the other parts? Then he found massive, like, this is what he really wants to talk to you about, Paul, is these giant structures, 250 miles in size, but consistently every 250 miles or kilometers, I think it is, on the dot, they intersect these giant military bases and old star forts, and pretty much has decided the entire terraform is terrain. Yeah, all the terrain everywhere is intelligently designed and constructed from technology and some sort of intelligent life or something like that.
Wow.
Pretty fascinating stuff.
So he's found like a grid kind of a thing.
Exactly, 100%, exactly. A giant grid of it. And then there's a military fort, star fort, exactly every 250 kilometers on this grid.
God. Wow.
But yeah, so enough of that. Campbell, did you want to show a bit of that old world machine? And Paul, you still had some pictures to show.
Yeah, I could. Yeah, tell me what sort of stuff to put up in a file, and I'll sort it out now.
So this is
whatever your heart desires, Paul.
How do I change pictures?
Yeah, I've gone through loads of stuff though the last couple of days. I've got loads of stuff.
Can you see that, Paul?
Oh, hang on, 100%. Yes, I can see this. Yes.
So that's the machine of Marley.
Yeah.
Like the Palace of Versailles is up here, and this is it. It's basically all these huge water wheels, and it's a water pumping station that was pumping up water to the palace up here. So I'm not sure whether
and then what was it? Was the palace storing the water and then using it?
I'm pretty sure it was using it for the gardens and fountains.
Interesting.
And
yeah,
so this,
you showed me this before, and I find it fascinating, mate. This is incredible.
Yeah. So they say there was only one, but who knows how many. That was it with these big water wheels, and I think they rebuilt it. Actually, I think the first one died, and they rebuilt it. But
and so many of the star fort maps that we've looked over together, Campbell, has these two identical looking wheels next to each other. in the drawings, like multiples of them in many different star cities.
Exactly. And water's current, right? Which is, and that's Versailles. Obviously, a bit of gematria going on there. But hang on, I'll stop that. I think what did I get here? I put in Machine of Marley, and all I'm getting in the Google search is Bob Marley. Is there an E in it? Here we go. Is that the right one? No, that's not the right one. Hang on.
Hey, you got another room. You got another. Mate, you're a tech sav kid, mate. I tell you.
Mate, I'm shocking, aren't I? Here we go. I think I'm onto it.
I know. I was talking to Bern.
Oh,
we
okay.
managed to get another screen up.
Oh,
There's 5, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
here you go. Machine of Marley. So it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Pretty huge. That's a palace up there. Massive wheels. And this was 1600s, 1700s.
So how many of these are scattered around everywhere? You know.
Well, that's the thing. They say there was only one, but I mean, you would doubt that they would only do it once, wouldn't you?
Yeah, of course. Like that's the only one that got left over.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I mean, you can see that the level of engineering. It's not a one-off kind of a, let's just try and build this biggest pump in the world ever, and
Like so much mathematics has to go into that.
Well, there you go. Apparently, this is a really good video on it.
Is it? Yeah. I think I've seen that one. I think I've actually watched that one. Some
probably
mad
the best
Australian
video on YouTube on it.
Yeah, man. Everyone go subscribe to that channel if you haven't already. I hear it's really good.
Yeah.
But so that's Machine of Marley. So I just thought I'd show you because it goes right in hand with all your hydraulic stuff. I used to have all these other pictures. I'm trying to collect them again. Kind of like the ones that you were showing yesterday that show all the piping underground and underground canals and stuff and everything's connected up in this big pressurized system, which it would have to be, because this is the thing I keep talking about with these World's Fairs, and that is the fountains, man.
Like, I know, mate. I've always been a plumber. I have to ask, like, how is that water getting there? First of all, the first thing you look at is the elevation. So if it's above sea level, then something's pumping that water there. Unless you've got the water coming from a higher place, but again, the water has to be pumped up there. So how is it happening?
Exactly.
Do you know what? I went yesterday. I've done something for the first time I've done in my whole life. I've never done this before. Last night, I went and walked along the sea wall where I live, very late at night, right? And next to the sea wall was a bunch of toilets, right? And then I've got the sea there, and I thought, where is this waste going from this toilet that's on the same level as the sea? There's a sea level. Like, where is this going? Like as a plumbing perspective, I couldn't work that out. Now, the only way that's possible is if there was massive depressions behind the actual sea. So underground, underneath Southend where I live, there'd be space for it to go. But again, if that is true, where does it go after that? Because there must be a pumping machine underground to get it back up. It's crackers, mate. It's crackers.
Yeah. Oh, and the other, the whole system has to be pressurized, doesn't it? Or else it doesn't, it all breaks down.
Just don't make sense. And I think me learning plumbing for 12 years has really helped me notice so much stuff. Who's talking about wedding Gorilla Glue?
Who's this?
Gorilla Glue.
Yeah, I've got Skittles cross Gorilla Glue.
Gorilla Glue.
Skittles.
Gorilla Glue.
I won't touch anything. My bad.
I can maybe screw. Yeah, I've got some pictures of the you know, the octagon sort of shaped little buildings we see everywhere in the parks and that, and it's got an Archimedes screw like going down into a water table underneath it. It's pretty spun out.
Pardon me.
And yes, everybody should go subscribe to Spiral Up. Thank you for sharing, Campbell.
Oh.
Or Callum. My bad.
Thank you. Who did that? Callum. Thank you. Oh my God,
Callum,
I'm so far
hot dog.
on that. There we go. Okay. Thank you. And yes, there's a video going up tomorrow. Latest chat with Howdy McCoskey. So make sure you check it out. All right.
Most definitely.
So did you want to show us your little experiment, Bernie?
Ah, yes.
Are we ready to see the wizardry?
See how it's developing, and is it gonna load? Why?
Watch out with those Bert and Ernie's, mate. You might get me cancelled.
Why isn't it switching? Oh, no. Oh, there we go. Sorry.
What are you doing? They're going to cancel me.
So I've got a chunk of quartz gold agate. What's
Agate. What?
Ore. Sorry, gold ore connected on the anode side. And I'm trying to both grow the gold crystals, one type of alchemical experiment, as well as it seems to be making this monoatomic, the white portion of it coming down, as well as the gold nano crystals, the gold orangey color settling throughout there. So first time I've hooked up ore to it.
That's the ore on the right?
Yes, sir. On the right side, you got it.
And like the copper-looking other one is, or the spring is. What's that? Copper.
Yeah, that's pure copper.
Copper. Okay.
And
so you're trying to transfer the gold molecules, like the monoatomic, across to the copper, and see if you can get it crystallized and forming.
Yeah, because Mike had read up on some alchemy experiments where these alchemists were showing. They sealed gold into some gold ore in a jar, and the gold actually grew, and it was an increase of overall gold element within
literally grew, like expanded. There was more than when they started.
You got it.
Wow.
So
what's that? That's got to be like the fourth, like matter, right? The fourth state of plasma.
You got it.
Kind of that, yeah. Wow.
And some real
and a good way to make money as well, you know. Why not?
That's what I was thinking. Like, hey, if we can grow gold, let's try it out.
I want to make some colloidal silver, mate. That's what I need to make.
Yeah, so do I, Bernie. We have to do a show on that and do a step by step.
100%.
Of what we need to buy and how to set the whole thing up to make colloidal silver, because the stuff you get from the shop's not strong enough, is it? It's like, I think it's around like 10% or less that strength of what you
per million.
Got it. It's like nothing. Yeah.
That is horrendous.
The monoatomic silver, which you dissolve into the colloidal water, is 1,000,000 parts per million. So it's like if you have that pure plasma monoatomic silver and you're able to ingest it properly, not saying to do this, if you don't know what you're doing, you'll easily poison yourself, especially if it's diatomic. But the monoatomic, when you get it into this pure fluffy white stuff, and that's what we'll teach is anybody that wants to be ready for this experiment, you just have two 99.99% silver ounce coins, and you'll use one as the cathode and one as the anode, and the anode side will break down to this pure white monoatomic silver, and that is what is the 1,000,000 part per million. And I've been able to get all elements into that aspect, but if you turn it blue, it's diatomic, it's going to poison you. The red, even more so, probably going to poison you. And so you got to be very, very careful with it. And that's why the people that turn blue, they're ingesting the diatomic and they poison themselves with the heavy metal and quickly die.
So Bernie, how much would it cost me to get the materials and everything set up?
2 ounces of silver. 2 ounces of silver, about like 2 feet of copper wire and a USB charger and some salt and water, and you've got it. So
how much copper wire? How thick the copper wire?
I usually use about 16 gauge to wrap it, but really it's just a matter of connecting. You don't even need it. You can, if you strip the wire. Yeah, so I'll take a USB cord, like an old phone charger. I'll cut off the end that goes into the phone, the male end of it, and then strip the negative and positive wires. And even if you just strip those long enough to attach to the coins, the silver coins, you don't need any other copper at all. It's just connecting the charge of the wires to both of the silver anode and cathode, and then just exposing the silver into the water. It'll form the monoatomic silver off of the anode side, and you'll literally break down your physical silver ounce into pure monoatomic silver.
So is monoatomic the same as colloidal? Is there a difference there?
So the colloidal is the parts per million of monoatomic element dissolved into the water.
Okay, so it's just the weak version, basically.
Exactly. It's the amount that is pure of that element dissolved in the water is what's called colloidal silver, colloidal water. So you can make colloidal gold water as well, and it's by having that monoatomic part. So it's that this then dissolves into this water, and then you drink this water. This water is what literally is called and sold as colloidal silver or colloidal gold, that they'll charge you like $50 for a little 50 milliliter vial of this. And when you drink this water, you fill it up, you let it sit for a day, and it recharges it again. And it's at least like 30 to 50 parts per million just in this water after leaving it just for a day with this monoatomic stuff in it.
So I think we should do an episode on that where we literally walk through and make it at the same time.
100%. We will set that up for 2 weeks from now. We will do that.
Because that would be wicked. I think other people that are watching this would want to do that. I want to do that.
100%.
You know how to do it.
We've also got to do some free energy or step up energy devices as well.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. I'm going to be doing the third installment with the Hutchinsons coming up. We can have you guys on for that to do the crystal battery builds. And I'll be, for the third episode, I'll be building my own batteries in that episode and showing the step-by-step way to do that.
So what's the deal with the crystal battery? Like, are they, like, how much can you store in a crystal? Like, can you literally store enough in a crystal to run a house kind of thing, or what are we talking here? Is it just at the beginning stages, or
it's in the intermediate stages, to be honest? It's not like, there's some basic ones that's enough to power like some lights and to power your clocks forever and everything like that. And the crystal aspects are actually salts that just a couple combinations of salt and sugar together that make the crystal putty that they use in it, and then a copper pipe as your anode or your positive outside that you attach to, and then an aluminum or silver screw as your cathode on top that is your negative coming out of it, and that's what produces it. Pretty simple.
So it's a generator, not a battery. It's
a permanent battery, and then you can connect them in series, and it keeps producing energy nonstop. So yeah, it's kind of a generator because it's nonstop.
Look. So I'm just
piezoelectricity. Is that where it's coming from?
I believe so. Yes.
Yeah.
From my understanding.
Can I just say something to someone in the comments? Euros Markovic, Paul, you need an iPhone with a LiDAR scanner. It would be great so you can take a 3D scan of the sites to analyze later. Brother, I've been using the site for over a year now. I've been scanning sites for over a year with LiDAR. I use 2 different sites, and I can penetrate between half a meter to 2 meters on these sites.
Wow.
So I just thought I'd let you know that, brother, because I guess you haven't watched the videos. But yeah, I'm fully aware of the LiDAR, and I use two different ones.
Does sterling silver work? It doesn't, does it? It's got to be 100%, doesn't it, Ben?
Yeah, the sterling silver has a bit of copper mixed into it, and that usually leads to oxidization and the diatomic blue poisonous stuff. So it's crucial that you get the pure. In Canada, it's a maple ounce. In the U.S., it's like the Liberty ounce. Is it a roux in Australia? I think the silver ounce coins, whatever they are.
It does sound familiar. It could be a roux, yes.
Yeah, so it's like you
Or
just get the
roux.
staple silver, pure silver coins, and you just need two of them.
And how much do they cost? Are they expensive?
2 ounces of silver, so it's about, I believe, 50 US or 50 Canadian, Australian, I think.
Okay, cool. Canadian maple leaf coins.
Yeah, that's what I use for mine.
Are they 100% silver?
99.99%, they say. So it's 100%, yes.
Yeah. What? So you still got? Are they tender, legal tender, or are they like collectibles? Do you have legal tender that's actually worth something?
Well, they're always worth exactly an ounce of silver, which is
that's the thing, right? Yeah, the coins we have, they're just made of crap. They're not worth anything.
No, I think they put nickel in the coins now, aren't they? And nickel's
Most
quite
of them-
very bad.
and tin,
Very
and
bad
yeah,
stuff.
nickel and tin, and yeah.
Because when I bought my camera the other day, I bought I bought a camera about a month ago now. But when I was I'm a weirdo. I like to read everything. So I was reading everything on the description of it, and it says underneath at the bottom, it says contains nickel, and nickel is known as a cancer-causing product.
Exactly. Oh, really?
I thought, wow, like that's like and in a lot of coins, and nickel in a lot of coins.
Yeah. Exactly. And you use that to make this stuff, you're going to poison yourself very, very quickly. Yeah. And that's the difference of it.
Neat.
Oh, there we go. $80 for 2 ounce, 99.99% silver kangaroos.
Silver kangaroos?
So that's the Australian government's coin, 1 ounce silver coins of pure silver, just as the Canadians are maple and the US are Liberty, I think. Something.
Do you know the Perth Mint's the only Australian-owned mint that there is, and it's currently being investigated for, I don't know, embezzlement or something, financial misconduct. It's awesome.
Right? Like, yeah, there was even the Canadian maple, the gold maples actually came out that there was a batch of them that had tungsten in the middle a few years ago, and it was like official maples. Yeah.
Well, do you remember that story about China? Do you remember there was a story that I think it was the US owed China a heap of gold, and when they paid it to them, China were checking it, and they were they weren't gold basically. They were just all these inferior metals that were just
It was like a gold, some Chinese bank that did a test on like their gold holdings, and then it was like the inside 90% was pure.
They found it was all just crap. Yeah.
Gerald, welcome. So Gerald, WP Enlightened for Truth too. That is our coil brother that desperately we will needing to hook up with Paul to talk about the geopolymer experiments of connecting the different piezoelectric additives and whatnot into them. But that's what I am trying to do with the gold ore right now, Gerald. If you're just tuning in, that's the experiment I have running. But instead of silver, I'm trying to do it with gold currently.
There you go. Everyone's saying the maple Canadian coin leaf thing.
Right, and
don't bite off Justin Trudeau. Apparently that silver like limps a bit. It's a bit floppy.
Like I said, the ones that were caught with the tungsten inside, just ridiculous. But
did you see that fishing competition? Like, it was a massive thing about a month ago. These dudes got caught, and they'd been winning fishing competitions for years, and because they were putting sinkers inside the fish, so when they were getting weighed, they were heavier, and they were winning all the
That's
but
hilarious.
yeah, but in America, it's like big, like they were winning like, 20 grand at a time kind of thing. So it was a big scam. It was a massive scandal.
Get G on with Paul Cook now.
Yeah,
Oh,
Jeremiah desperately wants you to connect with Gerald to learn some of the discuss some of the geopolymer stuff. Gerald,
but listen, I'm not an expert. I'm learning. I'm learning on the job.
Oh, exactly. We understand. It's like we're all learning together, and they've got a couple tips to share with you as well. You're not expected to know everything, brother.
I love learning, man. I love learning.
Exactly.
I still want to know what a PERT is.
A what?
A PERT.
A PERT.
We've got all these experts. Obviously, they had to start off as PERTs, right?
Funny man.
I'm hilarious, dude, and don't you forget it.
We'll never ever get a good few chuckles each time, but we are 2 hours and 15 minutes in. Do we want to keep going a little bit, or are we wrapping her up? And we'll just do her again very soon, and we'll make sure on the next one that we have Paul Cook's channel live as well, so that we'll be live for all three.
Yeah, that'd be wicked. But you guys can send me a copy of this via email, can't you? And I can put it up.
Yeah. We can send you it. Yeah. And I think we need to continue the Sesame Street thing, and we need to get you a Cookie Monster.
Oh, don't! That's my nickname. That was my nickname at school.
Monster.
Yeah, the little blue one. That was me.
Little blue one. Yeah.
How mad is that, though? How mad is that? Don't tell me you've got one, man.
Oh, he's got one, has he?
That's Oscar the Grouch.
That's Oscar the Grouch.
That's Oscar the Grouch. Sometimes I'm a grouch, but I'm gonna have to find a Cookie Monster now, and we're gonna have to get one for Campbell because you're definitely not a grouch.
No, I'm not a grouch. No, I know, right? Who can I be? God, yeah, I'll be God.
Oh wow, cheers, man.
Well, all right.
What was that?
I just got told I should be animal.
Oh, I thought someone said.
Well, that's the Muppets. He's Muppets, isn't he? That's right.
Campbell's Big Bird.
Big Bird. Yeah. Yeah. I can see it.
No, come on. Big Bird is not cool at all. Not cool.
Oh, I was trying to compliment you with you being the Big Bird on scene.
Well, big, big, but come on. Big Bird's a bit of a dork.
Yeah, you're right. Well, hey, I'm the one that's gay effing myself between Bert and Ernie being Bernie. Right. So
I know. Well, we'll have to take suggestions from the crowd.
Snuffleupagus.
Yeah, well, come on.
Is that real?
You're calling me a cocaine addict now? Come on.
Right? No.
It was definitely on the dust, man.
You're a mastodon. Snuffleupagus.
A mastodon.
Well, I guess that would be Stellium 7. He'd have to be Snuffleupagus.
Yes, that's a good point.
Oh, see? Another vote for Big Bird.
Oh, the Count. I could be the Count.
Oh!
One star fort, 2 star fort.
You are the Count of Starforts. The Starfort Count.
The Squire. The Squire.
I can't even think of any. Oh, Elmo. I could be. Yeah. Elmo used to be cool, but then he started telling people to get shots in their arms.
Ooh.
He's not tickle me Elmo anymore. He's like, poke me Elmo. Stab me Elmo.
Oh,
Use me as Elmo's kick ass. He is, yeah, but Fauci got to him.
Park one, brother.
What good boy. All right. So should we call it a podcast? A live cast?
I guess so. It is that time.
We'll wrap it up.
Yeah.
Wrap it up. It's almost 5 a.m. here, so I should probably get to bed.
Mate, you're so dedicated, man.
As are the both of you. I love all of you.
Yeah, it's a nice little combination, isn't it?
Yep. Almost 400 still watching. So thank you everyone for being here. We do appreciate you all. Make sure if you're not subscribed to Paul's channel, you go, the link's in the description, or Paul Cook, go across and subscribe, share the work around. And we'll be back in the future sometime.
Very soon. Well, I want to do the silver colloidal silver. I'd like to do that
Yeah.
experiment.
Well, we can do
Cool.
that next week then.
Yeah.
Definitely.
100%. And we will make this a weekly thing now at the very least.
Definitely. mate.
Yes. Tuesdays. Yes. Yes. Once a week. We'll see.
Yeah,
All right.
I'm looking to be going out on a regular basis now. I've got no chains strapped to me, and so I'm gonna be coming out of all sorts of stuff,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
So,
I've seen you've been working hard doing the lives every night.
yeah, so it's a different world for me now, mate. So I'm putting 100% into this.
Got the shackles off, eh?
110 now.
Yeah,
I'd say you were 100 before. 110 now.
I'd say I was 50%, mate. 50%.
Oh, well then that's just even more epic.
I know.
Yeah.
Wait till you see what I've got coming up here, mate. I'm telling you. It's gonna.
Oh,
I'm not
Nice.
blowing my own trumpet. I'm not trying to get people to subscribe falsely. It's literally I've got so much stuff that I want to do. The only thing holding me back is money. Once I've got that money, I can do all this stuff, and it will change the way people think about things.
Yeah. 2023 is going to be a big one for everyone, I think.
Right, exactly. It's going to be amazing. We're just going to keep building off of it. And on the next one, we'll look more into the Grand Canyon as well, because this is looking like that golden nugget layer of that red sandstone you speak of, Mr. Cook, and that the entire valley pyramids looks exactly like that layer. And the fact that it aligns perfectly. Oh, am I going to find it? There we go. To the topographical map that it is Orion's belt. Each of the stars, each of the high points of these temples aligns perfectly to the stars of Orion. It's absolutely nuts.
Who mapped that out?
It was done about 10 years ago. I first saw it identified on YouTube by some guy in Phoenix that went down and studied it all. I forget the actual name. I should figure that out.
Wow,
and maybe
that is phenomenal, mate.
we
That is
will
phenomenal.
also go into these guys a little bit more. And I'm gonna be doing a meetup there in May in Medicine Hat Badlands Guardians. We're gonna go explore these live and try to figure out what the heck they are. And just like you're gonna do your place, your meetup over in the UK.
Yeah, I'm going to be doing multiple. I'm doing multiple of them, mate.
Yep,
Exactly.
And I'm doing a meetup in February in Brisbane. So
Yeah, you've done a couple as well, haven't you, Can?
yeah, we've done.
Oh,
Yeah,
good,
that'll be
mate.
my
Yeah,
third
yeah.
in the last few months. So
Mate, you've got a
It's
wicked
all
community
happening.
there.
yeah, we've got 6 booked in for next year. So
Wow.
going to be traveling there and
bees, eh?
traveling
Busy
country, man.
bees.
Busy bees indeed.
We all are, right? It just keeps building. The inertia keeps coming. So on that note, it's positive. We love you all. I'm going to shut up.
Adieu.
Ta-ta.
Ta-ta. Love you all. Catch you next time.
Ta-da.
See ya.
Ta-da.
Being-
Ta-ta.